$300.
Done. Thank you. Now we can relax.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 30 deleted scenes that would have made a huge difference. Beware of spoilers.
If so, you've come to the right party. You see, the body of a young man was found floating in the pool of her mansion.
Number 30, alternate ending, The Thing.
You the only one who made it?
Not the only one.
Did you kill it?
Where were you, Charles?
After the standoff with the shape-shifting alien, MacReady torches the whole station to stop it from escaping. He believes he's the last man standing, until Childs shows up. The two share a bottle of scotch, freezing in the snow, eyeing each other with suspicion. That's the ending we all remember.
Won't last long, though.
Neither will we.
How will we make it?
Maybe we should.
But did you know that The Thing almost ended differently? One version has MacReady heading to another station and running a test to prove he's human. Another, the creature escapes disguised as a dog, the same way it came. You know that changes things. Probably to keep in line with the film's themes of paranoia, isolation, and distrust, the director went with the most haunting conclusion, leaving us in the cold with them.
Knowles found this yesterday. It's ripped just like the clothing on the Norwegian we brought back. Size large. Size do you wear, Clark?
Number 29, Russian Roulette, Die Hard with a Vengeance. John McClane finds himself in a deadly game with a terrorist threatening to blow up bombs all over the city. The movie wraps up with a bang, literally, as Simon's helicopter is blown to pieces. McClane saves the day yet again.
Say hello to your brother.
Get out of here!
What you probably don't know is that the film nearly ended on a much darker note. In that version, Simon actually gets away with the robbery, and McClane loses his job. Miserable and vengeful, he tracks down Simon and forces him into a twisted game called McClane Says. Simon picks wrong and dies. Since this made McClane look more broken than heroic and lacked the explosive Die Hard energy, it was dropped. Good call.
I traced the batch number to a German pharmaceutical company who shipped that bottle to a little pharmacy right down the street. I'm a cop, remember?
Number 28, Jane and Ricky's Arrest, American Beauty.
Or my grandmother's hands, and the way her skin seemed like paper.
This dramedy ends with a shocker as Lester is shot by Frank for rejecting his advances. Some may perceive it as a happy ending since Lester finds a brief moment of peace before he dies. An alleged alternate ending sees things end on a completely brutal note. In this darker twist, Ricky and Jane are put on trial for Lester's murder.
I guess I could be pretty pissed off about what happened to me. But it's hard to stay mad when there's so much beauty in the world.
Ricky's creepy video collection is used as evidence, and the two are found guilty. Another ending clears them of the crime. One of the film's screenwriters admitted the ending felt, quote, too cynical and too awful, and we agree. The original ending hits hard with a powerful message. Courtroom drama? That would have killed the impact.
For every single moment of my stupid little life. You have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm sure. But don't worry.
Number 27, Morbid Conversation, Sunset Boulevard. Billy Wilder's Sunset Boulevard has one of the most iconic and eerie openings in classic cinema. It begins with the body of Joe Gillis floating face down in a swimming pool as cops crowd the scene.
If so, you've come to the right party. You see, the body of a young man was found floating in the pool of her mansion.
Joe begins to tell the story of his murder from beyond the grave, setting the perfect tone. This wasn't the film's initial opening scene. Believe it or not, the film begins in a morgue, where Joe and other dead bodies share how they died. Well, the test audience found it funny and confusing, which was not the vibe Wilder was going for. So he scrapped it in favor of the now famous pool scene. Good move. It gave the film that ironic and darkly comedic edge it's known for.
Well, in the end, he got himself a pool. Only the price turned out to be a little high.
Number 26, Substance Use, Pretty Woman.
Hey, Sugar, you looking for a date?
No, I want to find Beverly Hills. Can you give me directions?
Sure. For $5.
Despite some adult subject matter, this 90s romantic comedy has a Cinderella fantasy vibe. A sex worker with a heart of gold finds love with a wealthy businessman. Played by Julia Roberts, Vivian Ward is a woman full of charm, dreaming of being swept off her feet. She finally gets this when Edward shows up to rescue her in true romantic fashion. Before Disney gave it this glossy makeover, it was originally called 3000.
The original version was titled 3000, spelled out, which was the number of dollars that Edward pays Vivian for her companionship for the week. It was a drama. It was not a picture where boy and girl end up together.
Vivian struggled with substance use, and part of her deal with Edward was for her to not use drugs for 1 week. Not exactly fairy tale material, right? Yup, it wasn't a love story. It was more of a cautionary tale. And Vivian, she wasn't the lovable, charming lead we remember.
So what happened after he climbed up the tower and rescued her?
She rescues him right back.
Number 25. Kryptonians are arrested. Superman 2. Richard Lester's 1980 superhero film has 3 Kryptonian villains, General Zod, Ursa, and Non, escaping the Phantom Zone to wreak havoc on Earth. In the final showdown, Clark lures them into the Fortress of Solitude, where they lose their powers. Powerless, General Zod gets tossed into the abyss, with Ursa and Non following soon after. While this version opts for the cinematic final resolution, there is a scene that sees these villains get arrested by a US Polar Patrol. Sure, it's only possible if they're depowered, but does it even make sense that the police found this icy remote fortress? Besides, it doesn't hit the same. Watching these villains fall to their deaths is more epic than seeing them leave in cuffs.
The Smallville Strong Boy, the Metropolis Masher, right? Don't you love that?
It's all yours, boys. Right, Superman.
We could be partners. 64.
Number 24. Aliens, Dr. Strangelove. Directed by Stanley Kubrick, this satirical comedy takes the terrifying concept of nuclear war and turns it into absurdity.
Smiling through, just like you always do.
Kubrick probably wanted to highlight the utter foolishness of human self-destruction. Having aliens watch it all unfold might have made that clearer. In fact, one concept had aliens do exactly that. Instead, Dr. Strangelove ends with that haunting montage of nuclear explosions set to "We'll Meet Again."
Sir, I have a plan. Monsieur! I can walk!
You have to admit, though the characters are exaggerated, the Cold War tension and military madness still feel scarily real. Throwing aliens into an already bizarre film might have pulled it into pure sci-fi territory. In the end, the film delivers its gut punch without needing aliens. Sometimes less is really more.
Now then, a specific and clearly defined set of circumstances under which the bombs are to be exploded is programmed into a tape memory bank.
Number 23. Lydia's Fiery End. Beetlejuice.
Whoa, hey, what are you doing? Hey, stop it! Hey, you're messing up here! Come on! Whoa! Whoa! Stop it! Whoa!
Since their home is haunted by the living, the Maitlands turn to Beetlejuice to scare them off. This so-called bio-exorcist soon becomes a problem for both the dead and the living. By the end, he's defeated, and the Maitlands live happily together with the Dietzes. But wait up, that's the ending we all saw. There's a much more disturbing version that sees Lydia die in a fire just to be with her ghostly friends.
Come on, let's get rolling now, Rip!
Then, by the authority vested in me, the ring, please.
The ring! No!
According to producer Larry Wilson, a couple of people rightly asked if that was the message they wanted to send to teens. Frankly, Lydia floating and singing fits the quirky tone better. If things had been darker, would we still love Beetlejuice the same way? Number 22, Malfoy Intervenes. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Draco. Come.
Whether Draco Malfoy deserves a redemption arc remains a hot topic in the Harry Potter fandom. The truth is, some of us hoped he would do something heroic other than always running away. But what do we see at the end of the film? He reluctantly joins Voldemort and receives an awkward hug. There's actually a deleted scene that shows him jump in to save the day by throwing his wand to Harry during the final duel. It might not have changed the battle's outcome, but it would have changed the way we see Malfoy.
It's not over! Potter!
Get this, another deleted scene shows Dudley apologizing to Harry. Yes, Dudley. Isn't it satisfying when villains take a step toward redemption?
I don't think you're a waste of space.
Thanks.
Number 21, Ripley's Daughter, Aliens. This sequel begins with Ripley's escape pod being found drifting in space 57 years after the first film. She's rescued and brought to the Weyland-Yutani facility, where she learns she's been in stasis for years.
Age 66. And that was at the time of her death, which was 2 years ago. I'm real sorry.
However, there's a powerful scene that never made the theatrical cut. After waking, Ripley asks about her daughter, and Burke breaks the news. Amanda died. This means Ripley has missed out on her daughter's entire life. With this heart-wrenching scene, Ripley gets more depth. It helps us understand why she's so protective of Newt. She's no longer just a badass, but also more relatable. Why was it cut out again? Perhaps it slowed the pacing. Still, that depth is totally worth it. Number 20, Cap adjusting to modern times, The Avengers. At the end of his first solo adventure, Steve Rogers wakes up in the 21st century and realizes the world is no longer the one he knew.
Table's yours as long as you like. Nobody's waiting on it. Plus, we've got free wireless.
Radio?
You can imagine that skipping over 70 years of history, pop culture, and technological evolution would be pretty disorienting. This deleted scene shows Cap dealing with that emotional fallout and reveals that he's not as well adjusted as he appears on the surface. It's a bit of character development that would have affected how we see Cap through the rest of the film. Plus, it includes another Stan Lee cameo.
Ask for her number, you moron.
Number 19, Shot in the Back, Back to the Future Part 3.
That's far enough, Tannen. I don't want any trouble.
You stay out of my way and there won't be none.
We knew Buford Mad Dog Tannen was dirty, but shooting an unarmed man in the back in front of his young son is especially evil. This deleted scene not only tells us just how rotten Tannen is, it also explains a lot about the Strickland legacy. In the franchise's modern day, Principal Strickland is obsessed with discipline. If your grandfather watched his dad get gunned down by an outlaw, it would presumably have a lasting impact on your family's way of thinking too. No wonder Principal Strickland never turns his back on a slacker.
I've never seen you before in my life, but you look to me like a slacker.
Number 18, Saruman's Downfall, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
Come down, Saruman, and your life will be spared. Save your pity and your mercy. I have no use for it.
Considering how important Saruman is to the story of this trilogy, it's a little weird that he doesn't even appear in the theatrical cut of the third film. The last we see of him is in The Two Towers, when the Ents attack Isengard and destroy his fortress. If you've never seen this deleted scene, you might assume that's the end of Saruman. However, the extended version of The Return of the King shows us his actual end. Although Gandalf tries to capture him alive, Saruman is ultimately stabbed in the back by his slimy lackey, Grima Wormtongue.
The filth of Saruman is washing away.
Number 17, Letting Lecter Go, Hannibal. It's obvious that Hannibal Lecter has a thing for Clarice Starling, but we never had the impression that she reciprocates his feelings.
Tell me, Clarice, would you ever say to me, stop? If you loved me, you'd stop.
Not in 1,000 years.
That is, until we saw the alternate ending of Hannibal. In the original ending, Clarice attempts to trap the cultured cannibal by handcuffing his wrist to hers, forcing him to cut off his own hand to get away. In this deleted version, none of that happens. Instead, she simply gives up and allows him to escape, knowing full well that he will likely kill again. The scene paints Starling and her relationship to Lecter in a completely different light and makes us wonder if she found herself falling for him after all. Number 16. The manager knew all along. The Shining. In this Stanley Kubrick classic, Jack Torrance slowly loses his mind while working as a hotel caretaker.
Here's Johnny!
The finale culminates with Jack trying to murder his wife and son, who escape, leaving Jack to freeze to death. That's the last we see of them, but the original script included one more scene. In the lost footage, the hotel manager visits Wendy and Danny in the hospital, telling them that nothing unusual was found in the empty hotel. He then tosses Danny a tennis ball just like the one used by the hotel's ghosts to lure him in. Is the manager a ghost too? Did he set up the family to be murdered? This ambiguity is exactly why test audiences didn't respond to the scene.
That is, quite a story.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it's still hard for me to believe it actually happened here. But it did.
Number 15. Ferris is a thief. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. If the audience doesn't consider Ferris to be a likable guy, this movie really doesn't work.
They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
That's probably why director John Hughes decided not to film the scene in which Ferris steals his dad's savings bonds to fund his day off. Early in the film, Mr. Bueller calls to check on his son, who he believes to be sick. In the original script, this scene was extended to show Ferris sneakily getting his father to tell him where his savings bonds are hidden. After he hangs up, Ferris breaks the fourth wall to make a snarky remark about how easy it was.
Incredible. One of the worst performances of my career, and they never doubted it for a second.
We know Ferris isn't above lying, but stealing from his own family would have turned him into an actual villain. Number 14. Loki didn't steal the throne. Thor.
You can bring your urgent matter to me.
You're king.
This scene would have cast Loki in a totally different light. Just after Odin reveals to his younger son that he's actually adopted, the Allfather falls into the Odin sleep, an Asgardian version of a coma. A few minutes later, the film hard cuts to Loki sitting on the throne, leading viewers to believe he seized the opportunity to assume power. But in an earlier deleted scene, we see Frigga bestowing Odin's scepter on Loki, telling him to make his father proud as king.
Thor is banished. The line of succession falls to you. Until Odin awakens, Asgard is yours.
The look on Loki's face makes it clear that he is shocked, maybe even moved by this turn of events. The scene makes his later betrayal even more nefarious. Number 13. Peter's Dad, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. One of the quintessential aspects of Peter Parker's character and backstory is that his parents are dead. So what if we found out that his father is actually alive? In a deleted scene near the end of the film, Peter is mourning Gwen Stacy when his supposedly dead dad shows up out of nowhere.
What? What? Say it! Say what you want to say! What do you want to say? Where you been? You're dead!
He gives Peter a spiel about faking his death to keep Peter safe, and the two have a heart-to-heart on a park bench. Since the sequels to this movie were canceled, we never got to see where this surprise development would have led. But considering that critics already skewered the film for being unfocused and having way too many characters, it's probably best that the scene hit the cutting room floor.
It was never my destiny to save anything. It's yours, son. And with great power comes great responsibility.
Number 12. Resetting the CPU. Terminator 2. Judgment Day. After narrowly escaping the T-1000, John, Sarah, and the T-800 retreat to an abandoned building. The theatrical version of the scene is pretty short. Sarah digs bullets out of Arnie's back while he and John chat. In the longer director's cut, the T-800 explains that if they reset a chip in his brain, he'll be able to learn more and become more human.
Can you learn stuff that you haven't been programmed with? So you can be, you know, more human and not such a dork all the time.
They agree to do it, which explains why the Terminator later starts using John's slang and cracking jokes. While the android is powered down, Sarah wants to destroy the chip and kill him, but John talks her out of it.
I know what it's like to try to kill one of these things. And if something goes wrong, this could be our last chance, so move!
Look, Mom, if I'm ever supposed to be this great military leader, maybe you should start listening to my leadership ideas once in a while.
It's an important character moment for both John and the T-800, and theater audiences never got to see it. Number 11, worst case scenario, Get Out.
All right, look. Let's just take it from the top, walk me through it again.
It's common for horror movies to have bleak endings, but this one would have taken the cake. In the theatrical cut, Chris narrowly escapes the Armitage house and his friend Rod arrives to save the day. In the original version, it's not Rod who shows up, but the cops, and Chris goes to prison for the murder of the Armitage family. Director Jordan Peele intended the ending to be a commentary on racism in the criminal justice system. However, as he was filming, he realized that conversations around race in America were changing, and more people had become aware of systemic racial injustice. That convinced him that the movie actually needed a happy ending.
I mean, I told you not to go in that house.
Number 10. Aragorn vs. Sauron, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
And we also felt that Aragorn has come this distance with his journey and that Sauron is his enemy, and that we had to somehow have this personal duel between Aragorn and Sauron, and that's not in the book.
When originally putting the film together, Peter Jackson and company had the idea of a final showdown, pitting Aragorn head-to-head against Sauron himself. The theory was that Aragorn had his own journey, and facing Sauron was his final hurdle.
And this blinding bright light shines on us, which blinds, everyone except Aragorn at a certain moment sees something and walks toward it.
In the end, it was decided that a fight like that would take the emphasis away from Frodo and Sam, whose story it really was. You still got to see the footage though, with the production team using CGI to create a troll for Aragorn to fight instead of the Dark Lord.
It was not what Tolkien imagined, and we realized that was actually totally demeaning to what Aragorn was doing.
Number 9. Hunted becomes the hunter. Hostel. Coming out at the peak of the gore porn craze, Hostel told the story of tourists who are kidnapped and tortured to death as part of a hunting club for the world's super elite. Those who went to see the theatrical cut of the film are well aware that the film ended with Paxton murdering one of the torturers. In the unreleased director's cut, however, instead of killing the businessman, Paxton kidnaps the man's daughter. It's a much darker tale, as instead of simply killing the businessman, Paxton's lust for vengeance makes him a monster. Number 8. Tosche Station. Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope.
You gotta take it a little easy, Luke. You may be the hottest bush pilot this side of Mos Eisley, but those little skyhoppers are dangerous.
Star Wars was saved in the editing room. The original script and cut of the film involved a few additional scenes that kinda just went nowhere. Case in point, this scene, in which Luke meets with Biggs at the infamous Tosche Station. The scene was not only slow, but completely unnecessary, as all it did was give clunky exposition while offering a few details on space politics we didn't have before.
No, that's not gonna happen here. You said yourself the Empire won't even mess with this old rock. Things can change.
Similarly, in Return of the Jedi, part of Yoda's monologue originally had him explain that he instructed Obi-Wan not to tell Luke the truth about his father, which would have cast the Green Jedi Master in a different, more manipulative light.
Obi-Wan would have told you long ago had I let him.
Number 7. Downer ending, Clerks.
You're closed.
Clerks tells the story of Dante and Randall and the comings and goings of life in a convenience store, along with their personal lives and relationships. When shooting the film, first-time writer and director Kevin Smith did not know how to end it, and he originally decided on the downbeat twist of Dante being shot by a robber.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're closed.
When looking for feedback, most people, including the actor who plays Dante, hated the ending, and Smith took a friend's advice to simply end the film with the shop closing up.
You're closed.
Number 6. A fitting end, Deep Blue Sea.
Let me tell you, man, I quit this job.
Deep Blue Sea tells the age-old story of sharks who become hyper-intelligent after Dr. Susan McAllister tests brain-growing drugs on them in an effort to find a cure for Alzheimer's. You know, that old chestnut. Test audiences were shown the original ending, in which Susan saves the day by killing the shark. But they were basically unanimous in their hatred of this ending, and despised that the woman responsible for creating the deadly sharks got off scot-free. The filmmakers took the criticism to heart and chose to kill Susan in the theatrical ending.
Let me ask you something. Are you sure it was just 3 sharks?
Yeah.
Number 5. All-Out War, World War Z.
This isn't the end.
World War Z ended on a surprisingly intimate note, with Brad Pitt's Jerry reuniting with his family as a vaccine is developed to help in the war on zombies. But the original ending was very different and featured a large-scale battle in Red Square. A tremendous amount of footage was abandoned, and the process cost the studio millions. But replacement writer Drew Goddard stated that it was done in an effort to make the film better. The original ending had Pitt's character Jerry surviving the battle, only to find that his wife had turned to prostitution to support their family. So, a bit of a bummer.
Be prepared for anything.
Number 4. Becoming a Legend, I Am Legend.
Open the door, please.
The book that I Am Legend is based on tells the story of a man who sneaks out during the day to hunt vampires, building up to his realization that to the vampires that he stalks and murders, he's the monster. In the original ending to the 2007 film adaptation, Will Smith's Robert Neville realizes that he is under attack simply because the creatures want back the female creature he kidnapped for testing, and upon returning her finds that he's become the true monster. But someone somewhere thought that was too cerebral, so instead, everything just gets blown up in the theatrical version. Number 3. Frame Job, Fatal Attraction.
Excuse me, you said homicide?
That's right.
Fatal Attraction is a thriller about a man who cheats on his wife, only for his paramour Alex, played by Glenn Close, to become an obsessive and violent stalker. The original ending had Alex taking her own life and framing Michael Douglas's Dan Gallagher for murder, making her more of a tragic figure rather than a total villain.
If you don't come through for me, I don't know what I'll do. But it's gonna be something terrible.
Many who saw the original cut of the film felt the ending to be anticlimactic, so it was decided that the violent and climactic showdown would be a more apt conclusion to such a tense story.
I'm sorry, your husband's under arrest.
Number 2. And the Plants Take Over, Little Shop of Horrors. Fans of the stage musical probably noticed that the ending of this film didn't ring true to the original show, but the original cut did. In the theatrical movie, the flesh-eating plant Audrey 2 is destroyed, and Seymour and his love interest Audrey live happily ever after in the suburbs. The original cut of the movie was straight out of the show though, which featured Audrey 2 eating both main characters before spreading around the world and growing larger and larger until it was powerful enough to take over the planet. Test audiences hated it, however, so the safer ending was shot and presented instead. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. A true finale, First Blood.
I want you to do it. Don't let them do it.
The original rough cut of First Blood was over 3 hours long and complete garbage, according to Sylvester Stallone. After it was cut down to just 93 minutes, one scene that didn't make it was this conclusion from the book, in which Rambo takes his own life rather than be taken into custody. Needless to say, not only would this have seriously changed the ending of this movie, but it would have also had a pretty big impact on the sequels. Like, you can't make a Rambo franchise if Rambo is dead. What other deleted scenes should have made it to the main cut? Let us know in the comments section.
I really think we should worry about the hearing now, because we don't have a lot of time, okay? I read your deposition, and it's great.